Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another reading for the Aries Full Moon. I was gonna say Fairies Full Moon. But yeah, today I decided to do the reading inside. And that felt a little bit like a collective message. There is a very strong message actually now that I'm tuning into it. Coming in for us saying that we need to return back home. There is a strong need for this, and it matches pretty well with the rune that I pulled for this time. The rune that came out is called Algis, and I'll leave an image on the screen. And it came out in kind of both upright and reverse. I pulled it out in the upright, but then it fell, landed in the reverse. And that's typical when there is a lot of kind of mixed signals in the collective. And so what I'm feeling is that there are two groups. There is one group that have been in the reverse and are now moving into the upright. And there is one group that have been, I don't know, in something else, and they are now moving into the reverse. So if you look at this rune in the reverse, it looks like the roots of a tree. And that's where I get the message, it's time to come home, really stems from. So this is deep, of course, just like the roots. The roots, it symbolizes our karma in many ways. You know, it's our ancestry line. It's the karma of our blood. It's the karma of the land that we live on. The karma of the land that we were born on. You know, the karma of the nation that we are a part of. The karma of our relationships. All of these things that we tie ourselves to, that we create bonds with, they all come with karma. And now is a time where it's becoming more and more important for us to be aware of this karma. And really, my experience, karma is really feelings mixed with narratives. So it's every story inside your mind, every thought inside your mind, if you observe it and tune into it, you will find that it is linked to a feeling. It's linked to a vibration. And this is kind of like the roots of our karma. So if we follow these stories and thoughts and feelings and really spend time observing them and questioning them and going deeper into them, we begin to see that they are linked to people, places, history, dynamics, you know, all sorts of things. And that's really our karma. And so that's the work that I feel many are being kind of, to be honest, it feels like they're gonna be almost trapped or locked down to do it, because that's the thing with this type of root work. It's like we are tuning into energies that are denser than ourselves. And so if we are not kind of held in place or prevented from acting when we start to feel these denser energies, then it means that we will manifest karma based on these denser times, denser energies. And then there's a real danger that we kind of fall back into time as a collective. And so it's almost as if to prevent this, or in an attempt to prevent this, the people that go into the root, they are being somehow isolated. You know, it's becoming more difficult for these people to travel freely across the land and to kind of run away from being faced with these feelings and stories that are their karma. And this is something that we've seen already happen collectively, you know, with the coronavirus. And so I think that the people that have been in this kind of lockdown, and instead of kind of resisting it and pushing against it, use this time to really go deep and to understand that these feelings that they feel, this fire, it's karma. It's not your higher self. And so the question is, do you want to manifest based on karma, or are you able to let these denser and darker feelings burn out within yourself whilst you create space for something new? You begin to call in light that can maybe help you to understand these very, very, challenging feelings that comes into our spaces when we do this work. And so I feel that these people that have been able to choose this approach, they have now created kind of branches. Because if you look at this rune in the upright, it looks like the branches of a tree, or even a person that is standing and reaching for the sky. It looks like having more space, to unfold and to open. And so there is a group of people that is moving into this upright position. But even for them, I feel that the feeling of the collective karma doesn't go away, because there's still so many people that haven't dealt with their karma. And so it's kind of like this is a soup that is just underlying everything. And even though we're kind of beginning to grow our branches, if we're connected to the earth at this point in time, if we're connected to the collective at this point in time, we still feel all of these challenging feelings. It's just that we become much better at kind of just understanding how this karma, these feelings, these stories are actually strengthening us. They're in a way guiding us, helping us become more resilient, and it's like they're immunizing us, these challenging feelings. And so I don't think that it feels like, we're moving into challenging times, but it's like these are the challenges that will build mastery. These are the challenges that will help us to overcome our karma. And so in many ways it's also exciting times, because it means that as we become stronger, as we're able to accept these challenging feelings more and more, then we begin to manifest ourselves, our higher selves, more and more. Okay, it's even just doing this reading is quite challenging, actually. So that's probably also why the message of coming home is important, like having your own little space where you can retreat and not necessarily having to feel this enormous burden and this enormous turmoil that's in the collective all of the time. I mean, it's good to connect to it and feel it, to kind of like, ride the storm and see what's happening. But at least for me, I don't think I can stay in there constantly at this time. I need to kind of shelter and pull back and just deal with my stuff, my karma, my own things. So let's pull some cards as well. I think 1 or 2 tarot cards for now. Let's pull from the Nicoletta Cecchioli deck. Maybe you can see it. It's kind of like a little bit like uncanny deck. Okay. Okay. The card that comes out is Death. Let me show you. Can you see? It reminds me of is it Sleeping Beauty? And all of these kind of like dwarfs, midgets, these, and by that I kind of mean nature spirits. To me, these are nature spirits. And she took a bite of the apple, you can see here, and then she fell into a sleep. You know, there's something about that it's like we're coming out of sleep. We're coming out of a time where we have been so just trapped by our own karma. You know, we haven't, for me, like if I look back into my life, it's not that many years ago since I started to realize that my thoughts and my feelings are deeper than just thoughts and feelings. You know what I mean? That they are linked to this web of energy. And I think that most people, they don't realize this at this point in time. It's like we just act out these feelings. We just believe whatever is in our mind, and that traps us. You know, it traps us to our karma because we didn't manifest our own mind when we were children. You know, the system did, our parents did, whoever kind of had power over us did. And so there's something about that, something about how asleep we have been and how just far removed we are from our free will and our choice, our right to manifest from our higher self. And so underneath the deck is the Eight of Pentacles, you know, doing something over and over and over and over again. Having to go through the same cycle over and over again, just because we're just so lost as a collective. We're so far away from seeing the truth, seeing who we are. We're just in the beehive mind. That's what I'm feeling with this. And it's kind of sad because since we're so far away from seeing it, most people aren't willing, you know. The will of their ego is not at all aligned with the will of their higher self, of their soul. And so it feels like being broken apart within yourself. It's like you're being pulled in all of these different directions. And that's why it's so challenging. Okay, so yeah, Two of Swords came out and also Empress in reverse. This, I feel, speaks about something that I've spoken a little bit about in previous videos. It's like we're not observing ourselves. We're not taking the time to stand still and just look at our own nature. Our mind is just telling us keep moving forward, move forward, but we're not realizing that by just moving forward and kind of re-manifesting our own mind over and over and over without questioning it, we just remain trapped. We just remain linked and bonded to exactly the same things, exactly the same energies. And so that's why I feel that collectively we're kind of being trapped into doing this root work because we're just not willing to do it ourselves. You know, we don't understand that we need to even. And that's also why it becomes so challenging emotionally, because it feels like being trapped, and that really can bring out our inner darkness, can't it? Like it can bring out our inner predator. So there's also something about that, about being aware of, because if you look at this, the Empress, like she's observing these different animals. Really, I feel like she's looking into their nature, and it's almost like these animals are a part of her. You know, she's trying to understand the different parts of her and how like these parts of us in a way have manifested what she is. But this came out in the reverse, and so most people aren't doing this. Their mind is just obsessed with moving forward on the same timeline. And so I guess that's a little bit the background of the energies that are being manifested now. It's because of this. It's because it's almost like we're dead. We're just reliving these ghosts of the past, but we're not even seeing it because we don't even question our own mind. We just manifest from it over and over and over, you know, trapped in a cycle, trapped in a wheel. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. Challenging energies collectively, but for us as individuals, there are so many gifts if we're willing to do this work. That's what I feel, because there's still so few people doing it. And so when we choose to do this work, it's like we become portals between earth and, in a way, heaven or the sky. And it's like if we have the ability to observe these denser energies, these ghosts in a way, the spirits of the land as well. If we have the ability to observe these spirits, the feeling that they bring us, and at the same time pull in and generate a feeling of peace or compassion or love or even just acceptance, even just like, I see that you're there. I can accept that you exist. Just doing that, it's almost as if we begin to allow these spirits to move through us, to come up into heaven, you know, into a higher form. We transmute the energies. And so I think that if you're willing to do this work at this point in time, you will be rewarded. You know, it's like this is how we awaken a lot of gifts. Again, the branches, the arms, the hands, which interestingly, you know, hands is what separates us from the animals. And so it's like this work is really awakening our humanity. That's what I'm feeling. So even though it's like down there is challenging, there is this layer that is very, very challenging right now. But there's also so many opportunities if we're able to kind of bring peace to that layer. And these are the opportunities that will allow us to actually manifest from our higher self. You know, it's like we become these, we choose to pull in these energies that are linked to our higher self. And so I think that it's like a paradoxical energy, very challenging, but at the same time, a lot of abundance that is possible for us to kind of pull in. So I'm gonna end it there. Thank you for watching, guys. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.